Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE NXT review for December 12th, 2018, and I'm just going to jump right into the video. We had the commentary team of Percy Watson, Mauro Ranallo, and Nigel McGuinness. And the show kicked right off with the match. It was Bobby Fish with Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole ringside versus EC3. Before the match starts, the Undisputed Era do like a promo segment talking about how they've had this like great 2018 and how 2019 is going to be even better. And I thought it was a very good promo. It was mainly Adam Cole doing the talking. I think it actually only was Adam Cole doing the talking, but I still really enjoyed it. And I actually thought this was a pretty good match to open up the show with. And obviously I liked it because it had a reason of happening. Bobby Fish immediately tries to take down EC3 with a chop block, but EC3 is just too powerful for any of that crap. So he dominates Bobby Fish throughout the beginnings of the matchup. Eventually, he gets distracted by Undisputed Era, and Bobby Fish takes him out with a chop block, and he works over the leg for a long time of EC3. There was one point, I think, where he went after the wrong leg, but I still thought that was fine. And then EC3 mounts a comeback. He hits the name drop, not for the win, but just hits the name drop, and then takes out, Strawn and O'Reilly. And then eventually, Bobby Fish tries to beat him with a roll-up, but EC3 beats him with a roll-up. And yeah, that was pretty much that. Afterwards, Undisputed Era attacks EC3, and Heavy Machinery runs out to make the save. They beat the crap out of Undisputed Era, and Kyle O'Reilly's left to himself in the ring, and he gets hit with the 1%er and the caliper by Otis Dozovic. And I actually like the way they did this segment. This makes sense considering the fact that, this sets up a future NXT Tag Team Championship match between Heavy Machinery and probably Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, which I think will probably happen, fairly soon. And I think that will be Heavy Machinery's last match in NXT since they're being called up. I was kind of confused in a way that EC3 got the win over Bobby Fish because Bobby Fish is going to be there long term, but the only reason I can come up with is that they filmed this before EC3 was announced to be called up, so they just had him get the win because they probably thought EC3 was going to be there long term. And then Io Shirai and Dakota Kai have an interview segment backstage. And they talk about Dakota Kai talks about how they're sick of Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir getting involved in Shayna Baszler's business. And Io Shirai says that, she doesn't want them hurting her friend. So they challenge them to a tag team match on the next episode of NXT. I thought it was a very good, I thought it was a good interview segment. It was a nice way to set up that match. And then we had the next match. It was Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan versus The Mighty. I thought this was a really good tag team match here. It was very fun, and it was very fast-paced, pretty much all throughout. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch immediately just come in like a house of fire since they were upset about that attack on a couple of episodes of NXT ago that The Mighty extracted against them. And Oney Lorcan hits a flip dive over the ropes right onto The Mighty. But then eventually he gets caught with a Saito suplex, I believe by Nick Miller. And they dominate Oney Lorcan for a while. And then eventually Danny Burch gets the hot tag and he hits an awesome missile dropkick onto, I believe, Shane Thorne. And the match just really just gets going. It's very fast paced. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch hit some awesome uppercuts and, springboard uppercuts. I thought that was just awesome stuff. There was a spot where, The Mighty hit a powerbomb superplex spot onto Oney Lorcan, and Nick Miller Shane Thorne did like a cannonball into the corner onto Danny Burch. I thought that was awesome. And yeah, it was just an awesome match. Oney Lorcan slaps TM61 right in the fucking face, which was awesome. And then they end up slapping him. and Only Lorcan hits double DDTs on the Mighty, not TM61. I almost called them the wrong name. And then Shane Thorne fucks up when he accidentally hits the slap onto Nick Miller, and it allows Lorcan and Birch to hit their wheelbarrow DDT combination for the win. And Only Lorcan and Danny Burch get the victory, which I thought made sense since the Mighty, Nick Miller recently asked for his release, so it makes sense to put over Only Lorcan and Danny Burch on the way out, and I just thought that made sense. But I thought this was a really good tag team match here. I really am disappointed the Mighty, aren't going to be a team anymore. But obviously I've gone into the reasons why Nick Miller, asked for his release. And then Johnny Gargano does a promo, and we found out on this episode of NXT that on the next episode we're going to have that steel cage match between him and Aleister Black. And Johnny Gargano talks about how Aleister Black thought that he took care of the Johnny Gargano problem at NXT TakeOver War Games 2 and extracted him of all of his sins. But he really didn't do any of that because he doesn't have any sins. All that happened is that Aleister Black got in his way doing his path to get to the NXT Championship. And he says that, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and the light at the end of the tunnel is going to be him winning the NXT Championship and all the kids, celebrating about it. And he says that he's willing to do whatever it takes to beat Aleister Black inside the steel cage. I thought this was a very good promo by Johnny Gargano. Then we had another vignette for Dijakovic. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but obviously I'll find out because he's debuting in the next episode. And then Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Marina Shafir get interviewed. I hope they find a name for this faction because they can't be called the Four Horsewomen because one of them's on the main roster. But, Shayna Baszler gives her thoughts about this upcoming Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match for a championship. And she says that all she's going to do is just put them in the hospital like she's done before. And then Kathy Kelly asks Duke and Shafir about Io Shirai's and Dakota Kai's challenge. They just laugh, and Shayna Baszler said they'll see them in the ring in the next episode, and we find out that match is going to be the next episode. Very interesting to see how that match will go, considering the fact that Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir have looked kind of green since they've been around. Hopefully next week's match or the next episode's match can be a test, but I don't know how good that match will be. Then we had a NXT Women's Championship number one contenders Fatal 4-Way qualifying match. Mia Yim versus Renee Gonzalez. We did find out that Lacey Evans qualified for the match. She qualified on the house shows prior to this episode, defeating Xia Li. Which I kind of like that they do kind of like those qualifying matches at the house show because it makes the house shows more intriguing. So I actually like that they do that. And I thought they had a good match here. Mia Yim tries to put the guillotine lock on her to try to, choke out Renee Gonzalez, but it doesn't work. Renee Gonzalez uses her power to take control, but then eventually Mia Yim mounts a comeback and hits Eat Defeat for the win. I'm glad they changed the name of a finisher, but I'm still not a fan of the name. But now, as of right now, Mia Yim qualifies, and as of, obviously the match has already happened, but as of right now, the contestants in the 4-way match is going to be Bianca Belair, Mia Yim, and Lacey Evans. We know Lacey Evans won't win that match because she's being called up to the main roster, unless she does get the win and they do the match at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, and she just gets called up the next night at the Royal Rumble. They could possibly do that, but I don't think they're going to do Lacey Evans versus Shayna Baszler. I think they're going to find someone with bigger star power, which is obviously why I think it's stupid that Lacey Evans is being called up to the main roster, because I don't think she's ready for that, but that's a video for another day. Then Aleister Black does a promo, and I actually like the way this promo was structured. Aleister Black, says that that people do think because of the feelings, and he's been asked how he feels about going into this steel cage match with Johnny Gargano, and he says that he doesn't have any feelings. He said that he's going to go in there and brutalize Johnny Gargano, and he won't be able to escape since it's a steel cage match. And he also says that Johnny Gargano has no redemption and no way back from this because he's sinned too much. I thought it was a very good promo by Aleister Black. And then we had the main event of the show. It was Ricochet's NXT North American Championship defense. It was pretty much Ricochet had signed an open contract to defend his NXT North American Championship, and he had done a promo talking about, how he doesn't know who it could be, but he's going to go out there and be a fighting champion. And we find out that who was it? None other than Tyler Breeze. Obviously, this was a very big surprise because, I heard they will leak this out in the spoilers, but obviously this was a very big surprise since he was on the main roster and he was randomly just thrown in here in NXT. I think this was pretty damn cool. I kind of wish they would do this a lot more with the main roster guys, where they would send them down to NXT and work a match with somebody. I think this was awesome for Ricochet because he got to go in there with somebody. Even though Tyler Breeze is pretty much a jobber on the main roster, he does have some name recognition since he was in NXT and he was obviously a huge star down in NXT for a while. It was cool to see Tyler Breeze treated like a star again for one last time. Probably, obviously because that hasn't really panned out as much on the main roster since since this episode's aired. And I actually thought this was the perfect opponent for Ricochet to wrestle since the styles are very similar. And it was just really cool. The fans went nuts when Tyler Breeze showed up, and it was awesome. So we had the match, and the match I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it. Tyler Breeze hits an arm drag right away and does his big selfie pose on the apron. And Ricochet hits a wicked quick arm drag onto Tyler Breeze. And he hits, pretty much they both kind of feel each other out in the beginning. Ricochet hits a really cool dropkick on the Tyler Breeze, and then he goes for another one off the apron, but Tyler Breeze counters that into a dropkick. He takes over the match for a little bit, but then Ricochet starts to mount a comeback. He hits a Puma Strike, which is pretty much a 619 into the corner. A springboard uppercut. And yeah, it was just a really awesome stuff. He hits a stand and shoot at stop press. And then he goes for another move, but then Tyler Breeze hits a super kick into a reverse Rana, but Ricochet kicks out of that. They both go for suplexes, but then eventually Ricochet tries to win with a roll-up. And then eventually Ricochet was talking crap to Tyler Breeze by saying that this is now his NXT, not Tyler Breeze's. And Tyler Breeze super kicks him in the ribs, and then eventually Ricochet hits a super kick to the face, and then hits the legs crossed Michinoku driver for the win, which I actually kind of was surprised that was the finish of the match because I figured Ricochet would have hit the 630. But I'm alright with this being the finish of the match for a couple of reasons. One, it puts over that a match could end at any point in time, not basically just sometimes by your finisher, but it could end by a move like this. And I think they should save the 630 for the NXT specials. Save them for the NXT TakeOver events because it makes the move a special attraction. It makes people want to watch his matches. So I actually kind of like that this was the finish, and Ricochet retains his NXT North American Championship afterwards. He shakes hands with Tyler Breeze and he leaves. And Ricochet does an interview afterwards talking about how he was a tough opponent, but he still retained the championship. And then Mia Yim did an interview afterwards talking about how she's coming for Shayna Baszler's NXT Women's Championship. And then on the post-show, Orny Logan and Danny Burch say that they're a team to be reckoned with in NXT. Mia Yim kind of cut the same interview, and then that was basically it. And it was hosted by Alicia something, I forget her name, and obviously the interviews were conducted by Jeremy Borash. But that was pretty much this episode of NXT, and I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a really good tag team match on it. I thought it had a good women's match on it. I really enjoyed the surprise of Tyler Breeze and that really good NXT North American Championship match. I enjoyed everything they did with Undisputed Era on this show. I just thought it was and obviously the setup to the Steel Cage match. I can't wait to watch that. So I actually will give this episode a B+. I thought it was great. Definitely give it a watch. And that's pretty much the end of my NXT review for December 12th, 2018. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and No on the Talkinator YouTube channels, because I plan on trying to get some videos out there on those channels fairly soon. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.